Clusterfuck. Normally, I don't include profanities in my writings nor the titles of postings unless I feel there is a need for them. This is one of those times. Clusterfuck is the best word to describe how NFL Commissioner Roger Goodell and the league are handling various off-the-field issues. In February, then Ravens running back Ray Rice was arrested after punching his then fiancee, now wife, Janae Palmer, in an elevator at an Atlantic City, New Jersey hotel. At the time of the incident, the only videotape of the incident that was released to the general public was of Rice dragging Miss Palmer out of the elevator. The Atlantic City grand jury indicted Rice on third-degree aggravated assault, which, if convicted, carried a jail sentence of 3 to 5 years in prison and a fine of $15,000. The charges were later dropped after Rice agreed to undergo court-supervised counseling. Commissioner Goodell questioned both Rice and Palmer about the incident in the same room. There is a problem with that. In domestic violence cases, the attacker has intimate knowledge about the victim. Placing the victim in the same room with their assailant during questioning is typically not a good idea, according to experts who study domestic violence cases and their impact. Also, there are incidents of victims changing their stories in order to avoid having their attacker facing harsh punishments because they have a connection. A child, one person is dependent on the other financially, and countless other factors. Then there is the rationalization by the victim that it will never happen again. He was angry. It was a one-time thing. I didn't make dinner fast enough. He promised that it will never happen again. It was my fault. We were both drunk. Rightfully so, Goodell was sharply criticized for questioning Rice and Palmer in the same room. Goodell suspended Rice for the first 2 games of the season for the incident in July 2014. Prior to the start of the regular season, Browns wide receiver Josh Gordon was originally suspended for the entire 16-game season for marijuana usage. The NFL and the Players Association recently agreed to a new drug testing policy that reduced Gordon's punishment to 10 games. The NFL has 32 teams that play their home games in 22 states. 2 states, Colorado and Washington, passed voter initiatives to legalize marijuana in 2012. California, home to the most NFL franchises with 3, has medical marijuana and made efforts to decriminalize it. Massachusetts, home to the most recent NFL dynasty, has also done the same as California. New Jersey, where the Giants and Jets play their home games and site of the most recent Super Bowl, had a highly publicized fight over medical marijuana that pitted Governor Chris Christie against the New Jersey legislature. The next Super Bowl will be played in Arizona, which also has medical marijuana. Ohio, where the Browns play their home games, have decriminalized marijuana possession laws. Florida, Georgia, Indiana, Louisiana, Missouri, Pennsylvania, Texas, Tennessee, and Wisconsin still prohibit the usage of marijuana. 14 teams play their home games in these 9 states. So what Commissioner Goodell said, that despite having 2 teams play in states where it is legal to use marijuana and having 16 other teams play in states that have relaxed marijuana laws of varying degrees, is that smoking marijuana is now 5 times worse than assaulting your intimate partner? Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Or consider the case of Colts owner Jim Irsay. In March 2014, Irsay was arrested under suspicion of driving under the influence and possession of prescription medication bottles containing various colors of pills, according to the police report. In August, Irsay pled guilty and was sentenced to 1-year probation to continue his treatment in a rehabilitation center and ordered to pay $368.50 in court costs. His punishment from the league? 6 games, and fine $50,000, the maximum under league rules. So, driving drunk and possession of various medications is worth 6 games, while assaulting your intimate partner is only 1/3 worse than that, and smoking marijuana, where more than half the league plays their home games in states that have relaxed marijuana possession laws, is 1 2/3 worse than Irsay's transgressions. Yeah, I'll buy that. Upon hearing from various critics that the suspension of Rice was too lenient, Commissioner Goodell imposed a new policy that any player involved in a domestic dispute would be suspended for 6 games for a first offense, and a second offense would result in a lifetime ban. As Rice's 2-game suspension was ending, the full tape of the incident surfaced, which resulted in Rice being suspended indefinitely and the Baltimore Ravens releasing Rice from the team. Rice is attempting to appeal the indefinite suspension, claiming that he is being punished twice for the same crime, along with that the Ravens and the league knew about the full video of the incident and are participating in a cover-up of the said incident. Then came the news that Minnesota Vikings running back Adrian Peterson was charged with child abuse after hitting his 4-year-old son with a tree branch and also striking another child, as reported by a local Houston television station. The Vikings originally did the right thing by suspending Peterson for their Week 2 home opener against the Patriots, but brought him back to play in Sunday's game at New Orleans. Reactivating Peterson drew a lot of outrage. So much that several sponsors have threatened to pull advertisements from the team. Radisson Hotels has pulled their sponsorship with the Minnesota Vikings. The Vikings decided to not let Peterson play, after all, in their road game at New Orleans this coming Sunday. Then there was the Carolina Panthers' Greg Hardy, who was convicted of domestic violence, but is currently appealing the case. According to the police, Hardy assaulted his girlfriend and threw her on a pile of firearms. Hardy played in the Panthers' season opener, but has since been placed on the commissioner's exempt list, meaning he will not be playing while his case is being heard. The same thing facing Arizona Cardinals running back Jonathan Dwyer, who was arrested for assaulting his girlfriend and child. Prior to the start of the season, San Francisco 49ers head coach Jim Harbaugh said that if you put your hands on a woman, then you're done in his book. 49ers defensive lineman Ray McDonald was arrested for domestic violence before the start of the regular season. His punishment? McDonald has started every game for the 49ers this season. NFL Hall of Famer Jerry Rice, who played most of his career with San Francisco, called for McDonald to be deactivated in an interview with Sports Illustrated. California Lieutenant Governor and former San Francisco Mayor Gavin Newsom and his wife Jen Sabile Newsom called for McDonald to sit while the legal process does its job. I think I have highlighted the current issues facing the league. One sponsor had this to say on the recent incident plaguing the NFL. We are disappointed and increasingly concerned by the recent incidents that have overshadowed the NFL this season. We are not yet satisfied with the league's handling of behaviors that so clearly go against our own company culture and moral code. We have shared our concerns and expectations with the league. That was said by Anheuser-Busch, as in the creators of the beer Budweiser and Bud Light. As comedian Jon Stewart said on his program during the week, how crazy is this? A company that sells alcohol is the moral touchstone of the NFL. Alcohol may be one of the only substances that is proven scientifically to increase the likelihood of domestic abuse. Then there's also this. Remember when former Buccaneers and Colts coach, now NBC Sunday Night Football studio analysis, said that drafting Michael Sam would be a distraction? Michael Sam is currently on the Dallas Cowboys practice squad. If you want to talk about a team loaded with distractions, it was known for many years that linebacker Thomas Hollywood Henderson played Super Bowl 13 high on cocaine. In 1994, right tackle Eric Williams totaled his Mercedes-Benz at the LBJ Dallas North Tollway interchange in Dallas. Williams was driving at 75 miles per hour and had a blood alcohol level of 0.17, which at the time was above the 0.10 limit and today would be double the limit of 0.08. There was the infamous White House, located in an upper-class Irving neighborhood. The house was rented to receiver Alvin Harper, where he had set up a very elaborate video recording system to document certain adult activities. According to the book Boys Will Be Boys, a cleaning crew of 2 women were hired to clean the house and were paid $75 a week. Among the items they had to clean up, used condoms, discarded bras, sex toys, and crusty carpet stains. In March 1996, receiver Michael Irvin and former Cowboys tight end Alfredo Roberts were in an Irving hotel caught with cocaine and prostitutes. Irvin was suspended the first 5 games of the 1996 season. During the preseason in 1997, head coach Barry Switzer was arrested for carrying a loaded firearm in his carry-on bag through Dallas-Fort Worth International Airport. Though Switzer faced legal consequences for his actions, the NFL did not administer any punishment to the coach. In 1998, Irvin was involved in another incident, this time where he stabbed rookie offensive lineman Everett McIver with a pair of scissors during training camp in Wichita Falls. 2 years ago, Josh Brent was driving drunk and totaled his vehicle. In the car was teammate Jerry Brown, who was killed. After the incident, Brent was on the sidelines during the Cowboys' home game against the Steelers. And for that, owner Jerry Jones was criticized for that. Brent was convicted of intoxication manslaughter and sentenced to 180 days in prison and 10 years probation. As for owner Jones, he is being sued for alleged sexual assault after racy photos hit the internet earlier this month. Dallas sports anchor Dale Hansen's words seem almost prophetic when he discussed Michael Sam back in February 2014. You beat a woman and drag her down a flight of stairs, pulling her hair out by her roots? You're the 4th guy taken in the NFL draft. You kill people while driving drunk. That guy's welcome. Players caught in hotel rooms with illegal drugs and prostitutes. We know they're welcome. Players accused of rape and pay the woman to go away. You lie to police trying to cover up a murder? We're comfortable with that. But you love another man? Well, now you've gone too far. The NFL currently has a distraction, and it's not from the player who has a boyfriend. This distraction has highlighted the hypocrisy and inconsistencies with disciplining league employees. A player gets busted for smoking a joint and is suspended for 10 games despite two NFL franchises residing in states where marijuana is legal. An owner who was convicted for possessing what is believed to be narcotics and driving under the influence gets a 6-game suspension. Another owner is facing a sexual assault lawsuit but is not facing any punishment from the league at this time. On Friday, Commissioner Roger Goodell held a televised press conference about how terribly his league has handled these incidents. He has admitted that he must do better, but did not say that he thought about resigning. The questions from the reporter showed how bad the NFL is handling it and how Goodell is unaware of how the general public feels about this. The lack of transparency and recognition that the league has a problem with disciplining their employees has gotten so bad that Congress might do something about it. Yes, Congress, one of the most historically inept Congresses in the history of this nation, might actually do something about this. Senator Cory Booker of New Jersey has proposed legislation that would rewrite the tax code to revoke the NFL's tax-exempt status as a non-profit entity. Yes, you heard that correctly. The NFL draws in $10 billion a year but claims it is a nonprofit and enjoys certain tax breaks that the average wage earner would wish they could enjoy. As most of my readers know, I enjoy watching the NFL and sports. I make my picks known in this medium as well with two other people, a gentleman from Houston who roots for the Houston insert name of the team here and plays insert name of the sport here, and a gentleman who roots for the Seattle Seahawks and the Cincinnati Reds in Arizona. But I'm also a human being, and I know that sports is not everything. Commissioner Goodell can chair a panel, hire experts in the field of domestic violence, and tout their experiences as women, and bring in a former director of the Federal Bureau of Investigation to conduct a so-called independent investigation into how the Rice incident was handled. The damage was long done, and it will take time for Goodell and his league to rebuild credibility. People still watch the NFL. Yeah, I admit it. The top 3 programs on television for the week of 8 September 2014, according to Nielsen, are as follows. Number 3, the Sunday night NFL pregame show on NBC. 2, Thursday night football airing on CBS. And 1, Sunday night football on NBC. And it will be very likely that on Sunday, the most watched television program will be the Broncos at Seahawks in the late CBS window. But I and my fellow football prognosticators and other sports fans will wonder if the league has really learned its lesson from this. There is a phrase that's been thrown around lately, protect the shield. It is meaning defend the NFL brand because it is shaped like a shield. Right now, public confidence in the NFL is shaken, even though a majority of its players, coaches, and executives do the right thing went away from the stadium. In 1920, nearly a century ago, baseball faced their own crisis around the integrity of the blossoming game. It was revealed that members of the Chicago White Sox had engaged in conspiracy to throw the 1919 World Series. Players who were not being paid well by management agreed to lose the series to the Cincinnati Reds if they were rewarded by gamblers for their efforts. The Reds won the then best of 9. The Reds won the then best of 9 series 5-3. Sorry about that. A little tongue-tied there. In response, baseball hired federal judge Kennesaw Mountain Landis as the first commissioner of baseball, replacing the 3-person panel that oversaw the game's early history. Landis was given total control over Major League Baseball, and one of his first acts was to impose a lifetime ban on the White Sox, who participated in the conspiracy. One of those players was shoeless Joe Jackson, who amassed 1,772 hits in his career and hit .356 in his career, which is the 3rd highest career batting average. In the 1919 series, he hit .375, went 5 for 12 with runners in scoring position, and hit 1 home run and drove in 6 runs. Despite that resume, he is not in the Hall of Fame because he supposedly participated in the conspiracy. While the penalty was harsh, it restored trust in the sport, and baseball experienced a revival in the 1920s, in part due to the first Yankees dynasty led by Babe Ruth, and restored confidence in the game. Not once during Goodell's press conference did he offer his resignation. If he cares about the league, resignation as commissioner must happen. If he does not resign, then the owners must fire him and follow what baseball did 95 years ago by bringing in an outsider. After all, it's about protecting the shield at this point. Clusterfucks are difficult to get out of. The NFL is in one right now, and the first step in recognizing you are in a clusterfuck is to admit it.